Hi everyone, it's Monday and I am out in the wooded area near my house. Again, it's the Salmon Morgan Creek Natural Area. So I walked out here from my house to record chapter 9, which is kind of long, so I'm going to have to split it into two. But I just wanted to show you this really cool formation behind me so you can see that this big tree actually has roots that kind of grew up and into the rotted part of that old tree. So anyway, there's lots of really interesting things to see out here. But with that, I want to get started so I don't run out of time to get the first part in. So, Chapter 9, The Rain Falls. Poppy and Aerith trudged along in silence. With her mind taken up by thoughts of the mouse with whom she had danced, she was grateful for the quiet. How so very much like Ragweed he was, and yet how different. While they looked alike, the stranger seemed softer, gentler than bold, headstrong Ragweed she had known. Certainly, this mouse was romantic. Was he, Poppy kept wondering, a dream or not? If he was a dream, he was the best dream she'd ever had. Still, she hoped he was real. If her dance partner had been real, how could she find him again? Of course, it was impossible that he had been Ragweed, but the mouse clearly was a golden mouse. If there was one golden mouse in the area, perhaps there would be others. Did that mean that she was nearing Ragweed's home? As they walked, Poppy hummed the snippet of a tune she had composed for her dance. So preoccupied was Poppy by her musings that she failed to notice that Aerith was frowning and grumbling even more than usual. "What's that noise?" he suddenly asked. "It's me, I'm humming." "I'm in no mood for music." "How come?" "Oh, forget it." Poppy paused to look at her friend closely. There was a look in his eyes that she'd never seen before. "Aerith," she said, suddenly alarmed, "what is it?" Aerith looked a little sheepish. Well, Bumblebee flunk, never mind." Poppy offered a worried glance, but chose to ask no more questions. In any case, she preferred to think about her dance. Once again, she began to hum her tune. The two friends continued west. When on occasion they met others on the path, a mole, a water rat, Poppy asked if they had ever heard of the brook. Much advice was offered, directions were given, and sure enough, another brook was found. Small and calm, it was very much what Poppy imagined she was looking for. To her disappointment, no golden mice lived thereabout. A resident otter did inform Poppy and Aerith that there was another pretty shallow brook no farther than 2 hills beyond in that direction. The otter pointed due west. "I bet we find the right one this time," Poppy, ever hopeful, said to Aerith as they started again. Aerith grew even more gloomy. Though the day had begun bright and clear, the sky had turned gray and cloudy, the air heavy. Treetops flicked and bobbed in a humid breeze. Birds flew high and fast. Clearly, a storm was coming. With new urgency, Poppy and Aerith trudged toward the crest of the second hill. "Maybe when we get to the top, we'll see the brook that the otter mentioned," Poppy said. "Soon as we get to the top of that hill," Aerith proclaimed, "I'm going home." "Why?" "I'm sick of walking," the porcupine replied. From the crest of the hill, they looked down into a valley. At the very bottom was a pond. "No brook," Aerith said with palpable relief. "Let's go home." "Well, actually," Poppy pointed out, "there's a brook leading into the pond and out of it." Aerith muttered something unintelligible under his breath. Then he said, "It's going to rain." "Aerith," Poppy said, "rain won't hurt us. I'm going to chuck that brook." Even as they stood, drops began to fall. At first it came slowly. Then great plops of water began. While lightning crackled off to the distant north and thunder followed, a steady drizzle began to fall. Aerith wheeled about and moved toward a clump of trees. And here is the picture. You can see that the sky is dark. "Where are you going?" Poppy called. "Where do you think, Toadwort? Out of the rain." "Aerith, I want to explore that brook." "Buzzard fraps," the porcupine muttered. Poppy watched Aerith go. "Will you promise to stay there until I search for a bit?" She called after Aerith. "I never promise anything." "Well, how will I know where you are?" "Watch my tracks." Poppy waited until Aerith reached a cottonwood tree and started to climb it. She noted its position, then hurried down the path. By now the rain was falling steadily. For his part, Aerith looked around, saw which way Poppy was going, down the other side of the hill, then curled himself into a tight ball and closed his eyes. "I never should have come," he muttered. "Ragweed. Nothing but ragweed. I thought I was her best friend." Poppy was approaching the pond. Halfway down the hill, she could see that it had been created by beavers. At one end was a dam. Poppy could even observe a number of beavers hard at work. Some were swimming upon the pond's surface. Others were laboring on lodges. A few were working on the main dam, building it higher. At the far side of the pond, a particularly large, fat beaver was gnawing upon the trunk of an aspen tree. There was a sharp crack as the tree snapped and tumbled to earth, landing with a crash. At the sound, all the beavers in the pond looked around. When they saw it was a tree that had fallen, they began to slap the pond's surface with their tails. Poppy, standing in the rain, looking on, heard someone say, "Awful. Just awful." She turned. Sitting beneath a large toadstool, protected from the rain, was a golden mouse. Poppy's heart fluttered. For an instant she thought it was the one with whom she had danced. Then she saw that this mouse, though tall and thin, was a female. "Hello," Poppy said. The mouse looked beyond Poppy. "Oh, hi," she said. She sounded unhappy. "Do you live around here?" Poppy asked. "Yes." Are there a lot of you around here?" Poppy inquired. "I mean, golden mice?" The mouse looked down at herself as if she'd never considered the question before. "I suppose." "My name is Poppy," Poppy said. "I'm a deer mouse." "My name is Thistle," said the other. "How come you're standing in the rain?" "Oh, right, I am. May I join you?" "Sure." Poppy darted under the cover of the toadstool. Thistle, making room, asked, "Where are you from?" "Back east, over by Dimwood Forest." "Never heard of it," Thistle said with polite indifference. She had turned back to stare down at the pond. Water dripped from around the edges of the toadstool like a tattered curtain. "I hate beavers," Thistle said. "Why?" When they made that pond, they ruined everything for everybody. The brook used to be so cool." Poppy's heart gave a lurch. "Is that what you called it?" she asked, her voice faltering. "The brook?" Thistle nodded. "You wouldn't think it used to be small and calm. Look at it now," she said sadly. Then she added, "Our home was right on the banks of the brook. No more. Flooded out. We had to move away because of them." Poppy was trying to restrain her growing excitement. And I'm going to stop there, and I will read the rest of chapter 9 and get it to you shortly. All right, bye-bye.